Yeah!
Let's do it. Hey everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the VOD Squad. We are here for episode 29. 29, guys.
I know. We're almost middle-aged.
You sound sad about that. I'm surprised we made it to 29.
Well, me too, actually. That's a good point. Yeah. Think of it. It's been over a year we've been doing this.
Almost. Well, no. Well, this is about the time we started talking about it. Our first episode was August.
Okay.
Yeah. But hey, yeah. All right. So, for those of you that have never seen us before, that are just tuning in because you happen to see us on Channel 1 going, what are these weirdos? I'm Clyde.
Hi, Clyde.
That's Matt.
Hi.
That's Mike.
Howdy.
And some point later, we might be joined by our resident Floridian, Jimmy.
No response yet.
Yeah, whose job was it to keep track of Jimmy this week?
Sorry.
You got distracted by the fact that there's sun out your window.
Yeah, it's weird. It burns. It's weird. What is this stuff? I don't know what it is.
Yeah, and for those of you out there in the VOD Squad chat room going, where the hell is everybody? We're on Channel 1, so we were slightly encouraged to use the main chat, which makes sense.
I like that word, encouraged. That seems positive.
We were encouraged to...
informed, a little more neutral.
A little bit of direction, yeah.
Right.
You know, makes sense.
Right.
Skills Cat. Erg, indeed. But all right. What's going on with you guys this week? And anything important before we kick things off?
State testing at school starting up. It's gotten, it's basically in full force now, which basically means I got nervous teachers asking me constantly whether or not, is it going to work? Is there going to be a problem? Can you bring mice? Can you bring headphones? Can you please see why this one computer isn't working? Whatever. It's just tons of running around.
When someone asks you to bring a mouse, do you actually ever bring a live mouse?
I could go to the science lab, find a mouse. That would be cool.
Oopsie.
Yeah.
Here you go.
Nah, I don't think I'd do that. Nah, I don't think so.
All right. Rock on. And then, what about you, Mike?
Other than being frozen yet again, it's been a crazy week, but just all work and no play. Hey, that's what this is for, though. It's about to get fun.
Good.
Yeah, all right. Well, hopefully this week's going to be better. Last week was a little sketchy, but slowly, things are going to get back to normal. So, and on that note, should we dive into some news?
Well, I think we should. We're going to have some interesting moves this week. Starting off with the news that Twitter is actually working on making themselves a streaming channel for 24 hours a day. You'll be able to go to Twitter and turn on and watch, whether it be news or some special shows that they're teaming up with various little networks like Bloomberg in order to make a bunch of content for. And this is going to be a streaming channel on the web that doesn't require any authentication. You just are able to go to the Twitter and watch their channel anytime, and of course tweet about it, which is kind of a cool idea if you ask me. Especially if they can get it, if they can somehow get this picked up by other people, like even just like Sling TV or Pluto TV or something like that. It's not a bad idea.
To me, this is a big deal because I think one of the biggest problems with a lot of the streaming services is a lack of live content specifically news-related items. So that's something you don't get at all on Netflix. You don't get it on. Well, I mean, you can get it on YouTube, but now you've got it on Hulu, and YouTube Red and all, or not Red, but YouTube's TV and Sling TV and stuff. Those mirror like more of a cable model, so you're paying basically to get that kind of live content that's streaming from those channels, but you don't get that from Netflix. You didn't get it from Hulu, and so this is a good deal.
This is more like your local broadcast station that's just sending out whatever content they can, and they're making money off of advertisements, and there's no charge directly to you. You just pick it up because you turn on the channel. So,
yeah, and,
cool.
And they've got the built-in kind of word-of-mouth feature from the people responding and forwarding and tweeting and bitching and moaning about whatever they just saw on the news feed from Twitter. So, hey, cool. More of that. Everybody, more of that.
I agree.
That's all I gotta say. I'm probably not going to use it, but more of that.
I will definitely turn to it if there's something interesting that I want to watch, and I will probably try out the news. We'll see. I don't know. Other next story we have is that we had an interesting story happen this week where we had a hacker go out and steal a bunch of different shows from us. Not from us, but from the various networks. And hey, it's Jimmy.
Hey,
Jimmy.
hey.
Oh no.
How's it going, guys?
Is Jimmy frozen too?
I gotta fix my screen.
The world is all crazy.
It's
Can you guys hear me okay?
Darn,
all right.
Darn, use Skype. Yeah, we hear you great, Jimmy.
Yeah. I came in and just messed up everything, didn't I?
Yes.
Okay.
But that's okay. We'll fix that here post haste. Like my big words? I know a couple.
Yeah, was that the word of the day?
It was on my calendar. Yeah.
Ah, I see. So sorry for being late. We're doing big database migrations and stuff. So.
Mm-hmm. Oh, work. Isn't it?
Yeah. And hey, look at this. Check it out, guys.
What you got?
I'm using a Windows PC.
Woo! It's like
It's so
the
bad.
world is all topsy-turvy. I don't know what to think of this.
It's not mine, right? So
Right. That's what
make
they
you feel
all
better?
say.
Go ahead. You can tell yourself that to allow you to sleep at night. That's fine.
Although I will say, what Microsoft released this week looks pretty snazzy. I gotta admit.
Oh, you
mean
got
the hardware.
Yeah, the hardware.
Yeah.
I mean, it's still Windows, but the hardware looked very nice, man. I was very impressed.
very nice.
I agree. It is a very nice aluminum wedge. I could probably hold up my leaning table on my dining room table with that. Just stick it right underneath there and get it right in there. It's a nice little wedge. I think it's good. But getting back to the news, a variety of reports that we had a hacker who went and stole some of the episodes of various shows, and most prominently, they stole Orange Is the New Black season 5, most of the new season coming out. And they went ahead and tried to blackmail Netflix. Netflix didn't cave, and so guess what? They decided that he put it on the torrent. So if you really want to watch it, Orange Is the New Black season 5, it's available now on the torrents. And I don't think Netflix cares.
Now I haven't watched Orange Is the New Black. Is season 5 a current season or is it an upcoming season?
It's upcoming.
Upcoming. I assumed as much, but
apparently the video was released to the people who do the subtitling, and so it was stolen from those people by this hacker or somebody else, and then they tried to blackmail Netflix into I'm going to release this if you don't give us money, and
well, I have to commend Netflix for not caving. I mean, obviously caving caving is never a good deal on one of these things because they can't guarantee that it won't get released anyways, and it just encourages it to occur more and more.
Yeah.
Furthermore, like a huge percentage of the population already has Netflix and would have gotten this show probably in a couple of months anyways. So
yeah,
it's not like people are gonna, go to extreme lengths to watch it. When it's like if you want to watch it, you can watch it now or you can binge it later. Oh well, Netflix doesn't lose any money on the deal, right?
No, they don't, and it's not even the full season. So if there's some kind of twist or hang something at the end that you'd have to watch the whole season, you still have to wait and see it. So
the way I see it is, I can watch it now and get a virus on my computer and be breaking the law.
There you go.
Or I can watch it later through Netflix and not have to worry about all that stuff.
Orange is the New Black, available now with a free virus.
Yay!
Yeah.
Or Rootkit.
Or Rootkit, yeah.
Sounds about right.
Yeah. Well,
I think that conspiracy theory time. It's possible that this is a publicity stunt by Netflix. Just imagine. We didn't release it because somebody else did.
And that's an interesting thought. Yeah.
They never. And they didn't say. They never once said that the person that released it didn't work for them.
That's true. I don't know any idea.
Well, case closed.
If that's actually true. Yeah.
To claim that it's a hacker, I think, is a strong implication, though.
What if it's their hacker?
Yeah, I mean, it could certainly be a publicity stunt, but
yeah. Well, I mean, a lot of these marketing departments for these companies, I mean, they get into the social media and all that kind of stuff nowadays. So it wouldn't surprise me if it was a marketing stunt there.
Well,
but if it turns out to be a marketing stunt and people find out, that could blow up in their face.
I applaud them. I wouldn't. It might blow up in their own face, but probably not. I don't.
Your frozen picture started moving, and it scared me.
But it's like those newspapers in Harry Potter. It's so weird.
You lost me at Harry. So, all right. What else we got to talk about?
So Hulu earlier this week said that they had finally made deals with NBC Universal in order to get many of the local stations of the NBC channels on their new upcoming, soon to launch Hulu Live TV streaming service. I like this. I did check the list, and nope, no Seattle.
Yeah.
Well, that brings in, some of the news channels as well. CNBC for the business news, I suppose. Right?
Yeah. And there's some Universal channels on there, like Sci-Fi and USA and things.
The Sci-Fi, right. That's a big one.
Yeah, that is a big one.
For me, similar to Twitter, these kinds of things, the local channels are always news is important. News is something that is a valuable asset for people. And when I say that, I don't mean that intrinsically, but I mean it that a lot of people care a lot about watching the news on TV. Mm-hmm. So I think that for this type of service, like the PlayStation Views and the Sling TVs, that's going to be a major buy-in. One of the reasons I still have PlayStation View is I kind of enjoy watching the news a couple times a week, just to keep current and stuff. And PlayStation View has a variety of news channels that I can watch to do that. So I think that's an important aspect. And being able to get local news, same kind of thing. Not necessarily. Some people like the local news more than they like the national news. Whatever. It's valuable.
Well, this is I think other than NBC was one of the hard ones for the different streaming companies to get, and I know that YouTube TV made sure and got all four of the major networks before they went and launched. So the fact that Hulu got in here and got the NBC deal going, this is good. So
and maybe I need to read the article again, but I'm interested in knowing exactly what that means for content. I mean, having the local affiliates is cool, but does that include all of the local shows? Like, if you're in love with the 4 a.m. early in the morning show here, is that going to show up? Because if so, that's cool. Or is it just like the news?
I suspect that if... Go ahead, Mike.
I was going to say, my understanding from what they read was that you're getting the local affiliate channels themselves, which will include everything that's broadcast over NBC on that channel. So, if it's channel 12 in your area, it'll just show channel 12. So whatever would have been on at 4 a.m. on channel 12 will be on at 4 a.m. on the NBC local through Hulu.
Yeah, like where I'm at, there's early access channels, local access channels that have a bunch of stuff because it's Olympia. They have channels that discuss things about what's going on inside the Capitol. So that kind of stuff on our local channel. If it was on service, I would be able to record or watch it for a really ungodly hour of 4 a.m.
So. Yeah, I mean, again, more of that. I don't see any reason that everybody shouldn't be doing this. And I know part of it had to do with the major networks were reluctant to give the affiliates or give permission for the affiliates to have their own stream.
Right.
But the fact that that's turning, that's changing, cool.
Yep, and the fact that it seems like a lot of them are getting these deals being hammered out now. That's a good sign for us to finally be able to get this thing. Although nothing is ever coming to Seattle, if I swear. It's going to take forever.
Well, you don't get anything because Seattle flooded the country with grunge music and bad coffee. And
so you're going to blame this on
it's just payback. Nirvana, Pearl Jam, all of the others, Soundgarden, right? And Starbucks. Although Seattle's best had some decent coffee. But all tangents aside, I don't know. Maybe we didn't have as much to say about this as we thought.
So we have one last story. Oh yeah, by the way, Hulu officially launched today. Hulu Live. It kind of launched as a beta, but it's a beta that anybody can join and you have to pay for. I don't call that a beta, but it's what they call a beta.
Well, no, it's a beta. You go into it knowing that there's going to be bugs and.
Have you guys gone in and looked at the Hulu app today?
I just used it on the Roku, but it hasn't changed yet.
Roku is one of the
on the Apple TV. The interface has completely changed. Completely, a complete rewrite of the UI.
You know what? I wonder, has it changed on the Fire TV yet?
I don't know.
Because we might be able to take a look at that.
It has changed on the Android TV, so that's your only option.
Yeah, on the Apple TV it changed, and I just noticed it not long before the show here that it had changed. I was watching a TV show before coming upstairs, and then got called into work, and then but I hadn't had enough time to play around with it to say if it's good or not. I kind of like where it's going, or the little bit that I played with it seemed fine. I think that I like it, but I just haven't spent enough time with it yet.
So here's what we know right now. Hulu still exists in its current form, where you can get Hulu for just the back channels of TV channels, the back shows. And you can go ahead and still pay the standard $8 a month, and then possibly $12 a month for the version without getting the commercial-free option. But if you want the live channels, it is now $39.99 a month. That includes the option to watch the same Hulu back channels, but it does not include your option for commercial free. You still have to pay $4 extra to get that. So $44 will get you what you had before if you had the commercial free option plus live streaming TV. It also comes with a couple accounts. You can actually stream to I think 2 devices and a cloud DVR with 50 hours of storage built in right out of the bat. I haven't seen any information on whether there's any kind of limitation to what can be stored. As we know from some of the other ones, some things couldn't be recorded. I haven't heard any details of whether or not you can or can't skip commercials in the middle of using the DVR. I still need to figure that out. You can upgrade to get more streams. You can get several more streams instead of just the 2. That will cost you $15 a month if you want to upgrade the streams. Also, if you want to increase that 50 hours to 200 hours, I think that's the number it goes up to. That's also $15 a month. But if you want both the streaming, extra streaming, and the 200 hours, they'll combine both of those together for $20 a month. So if you want the whole shebang, we're talking about $64 a month. Lots of streaming options, streaming to a lot of different places. With the DVR built into it and the back catalog with no commercials, it's how much that's going to be. That seems like a proper cable subscription.
Yeah. Here's the thing. Or the question that I have, because I'm looking through here and I'm not quite seeing it, but hopefully one of you guys can set me straight here. So the current Hulu I have right now is commercial free of just the on-demand service.
Right, and it's still there.
Regular classic Hulu.
So if I pay the $39.99, does that include the on-demand service?
It does include the on-demand service, but does not have commercial free. You still have to pay $4 extra to get that. So essentially, Tom Merritt on DTNS today said, think of it as a $32 add-on to your
$32 to have the live TV is what it is.
That's right. That's the way to look at it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And it seemed like I calculated that before. Yeah. So $32 to add live television through Hulu.
And a lot of channels too. Apparently, anywhere from 40 to 50 based on your location.
Yeah, I noticed the HGTV was there. The Golf Channel was there. There's a couple of them that kind of ESPN is there.
Yeah, this is a pretty compelling package. If you look at the price comparison of this to some of the others, like PlayStation or the PlayStation Vue, that's like $30 a month without Hulu, obviously. So if you're already subscribed to Hulu and you're paying the $12 a month for commercial free, like I was, you're looking at paying roughly the same price as you are now to do the Hulu. So I think that's a pretty compelling offer. There's a number of shows, of channels, and you get a few more channels, I think, than you get with the PlayStation Vue. I'd have to do a direct comparison, but it looked like a few more channels. And being able to get some of the local channels is nice with the NBC, or at least when that is fully in place. So I think this is a compelling offer. It definitely matches up with some of the others. I use PlayStation Vue and I like it. I think it's a really good solution. And so I kind of compare everything to that. And this seems very comparable to that. I would have to try it to know if the functionality for things like the DVR are as good. But PlayStation Vue started out really kind of horrendous from a usability perspective. But it has gotten to a point where, and some of that is probably partly my learning. So maybe the user experience isn't really all that good for a new user, but for me, who I've used it for several months now, 6 months or so almost, I'm very, very accustomed to it, and I find it very easy to get around and use. So I think that I would have to use it to compare it, but it looks very comparable, and it looks like a solid package and a pretty reasonable deal if you already have Hulu and want Hulu. If you don't have Hulu, this just, to me, doesn't really make sense. There's cheaper solutions that give you a pretty close to comparable feature set.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that. And to me, so, I mean, let's face it, we're all cord cutters here, right? So, and if you're a cord cutter, this is a service like this really is only good for the once in a while when you want to watch that, something live. Like say when the Oscars are going to come on. Okay, maybe I'll subscribe this month because the Oscars are going to be this month. Or, oh, the NBA playoffs are going on right now, so maybe I want to subscribe for this couple of months that the NBA playoffs will be going on, right? But I don't think that it's a good value proposition for cord cutters to subscribe to this full time all year long, right? This is just for the once in a while when you want to watch live television.
Well, while I understand your perspective, I had that exact same perspective the entire time we were trying out PlayStation Vue when we did our 30-day challenge for it. I said, I'll do this, I'll try it, and then I'll cancel. Then I realized how nice it was to be able to watch Boise State, my college football team. So I watched Boise State, and I kept saying, as soon as the season's over, I'm going to cancel. But then the season ended, and I was like, well, yeah, but I kind of want to know what's going on in the news with everything that's happening. So let's keep it for a little bit longer. And now it's, like I said, we did this trial in October or November? Mm-hmm. And I still have it. So it's been over 6 months, and I am still paying for PlayStation Vue. So while I understand the perspective, it is really easy. And I think it kind of comes back to that same thing with cord cutting. Cord cutting is hard because you get accustomed to having those items next to you. So you have to consciously say, okay, I'm ready to sacrifice the current convenience, the thing I'm used to save money or to make a statement about what you care about, which is not paying for a bunch of stuff that you don't want and don't use. And I use maybe 3 channels on PlayStation Vue. But
so what if it's and that's an interesting perspective as well, Michael. And I agree with that. What if one of these guys like Hulu or Sling or whoever, right, were to come out and say, okay, tell you what, so you can go, we've got all of our regular packages like this, and we give you 50 plus channels for, $40 a month. Or, if you're really a cord cutter, right, and you enjoy our on-demand service, tell you what, we'll give you this slimmed down version. You pick 5 channels and maybe pay us $8 a month for those 5 channels, right? Would that be a good value proposition?
I would literally pay $5 a month per channel, because while that is massively more per channel per month, it is really cheap compared to what I'm paying right now, because I literally use 3 channels. And to be able to slim it down to those 3 channels, it would cut my price in half.
The words that he just spoke do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions or wants or desires of the VOD squad. Thank you.
I would love it if they said, oh, well, right now you're effectively paying 75 cents a channel, which I think is pretty close, because I think the base package with PlayStation Vue is like 40 channels or something like that, and you pay $30. So let's say 75 cents. I think it's actually 66. So whatever. But you're paying X number of dollars per month. My math is horrible. Somebody got a calculator or a math brain. But anyways, you're paying X number of cents per month per channel. Mm-hmm. Let's just have you pay that. Well, that would be great. But if you look at what I'm paying for, I would pay $13 for 5 channels. I mean, see, that's reasonable, and I think that would be much more optimal. But the point is simply that I'm paying right now X number of dollars for Netflix. I don't even know, like $12 for Netflix, $12 for Hulu. So to come out and say, well, 1 channel for $5, I watched that set of 3 channels as much as I do all of the other channels. So
unfortunately, you're never ever going to get what you want.
A true a la carte system.
That true a la carte system with a nice tiered, scalable. I want one channel. That's going to cost you $9 a month. Well, okay, fine. Maybe I want 3 channels. That'll be $14 a month. Okay, maybe I want 10 channels. Okay, that'll be $25 a month. That nice even scale. Nobody's going to let you do that because you already have channels that literally pay the people who are that actually pay back to the providers, like QVC. QVC doesn't cost Dish or anybody any money. In fact, they earn money by putting those channels on because they earn money by you buying stuff off the channel. Then you have channels that are very, very inexpensive that just want to be. We're not charging much. We just want to get people to watch our channel. And then you have things like ESPN, which have ridiculous rules, and it's really expensive. If you don't follow those rules exactly, it's almost twice in price. These contract rules are ridiculous, and these probably still apply, which is why we're still seeing this style of tiered kind of shows. Now, somebody named Sling has figured out how to exactly slice it down the middle to say, hey, orange is all these with these contracts all mixed up here, and blue is all with these contracts mixed up right here. And then you have hey, we can put them together and give you a little bit less altogether because we'll still be making a buck out of that. We're never going to get to there, though, unless you're happy to pay $9 for ESPN every time.
Yeah.
Then I know you'll probably say to yourself, I don't want ESPN.
Yeah, well, ultimately, I think that's the thing is that they still have this opinion that they need to equalize the cost across a variety of channels, and that's why they do it. So, right, like it's $20 for the base, for the orange package or whatever on Sling, and that includes ESPN. But probably 50 to 75% of that cost is just ESPN. And all of the others, at least based on the carrying costs that we see for cable channels, and all of those costs have to be balanced because they don't think anybody's going to pay $15 for ESPN by itself. And that may well be true. That's part of the problem, though. Like, once you start actually paying for what you're getting and getting what you want, then you have the ability to actually make that assessment of, do I actually care enough to pay $15 for ESPN and only when I can go and pay $1 for HGTV? Because I watch HGTV. I only watch ESPN and those channels during the Boise State season, 1 game a week. Now, during that season, I would pay $15 a month to do it. But that's the only time. And the rest of the year, I wouldn't pay $1. But that's also partly because I don't live in Boise anymore, and so I can't just go to a local bar or go see the game or anything. I have no option aside from a streaming solution to see the games.
We're never going to get to the point where that's going to be the option because ESPN just doesn't want to have to deal with that kind of crazy scheduling of the money that would be flowing in suddenly during sports events and then would disappear after the events were gone. They wouldn't know what to do themselves because everything that they currently have is really expensive and they've been losing money, so they've been cutting staff as we talked about last week. And so
that would also cause a huge problem for the sports industry in general, right? Like, yeah, I love Bad Weave's description of ESPN.
It's on point.
On point. But the thing is that like the entire sports industry is predicated on ESPN and other channels like it, but predominantly ESPN paying massive amounts of money for the viewing rights to the NFL. And what you end up getting is teams that couldn't support themselves getting supported through those big, huge contracts. And so if you did something like that, it would force teams and leagues to start thinking about the business of what they're doing, like what they are doing as a business. They couldn't weather public relations crises as well as they do now. So I think I personally would be all for an approach like this. I don't know what the impact on sports in general would be, but I would be all for a model that less monopolized it, because with the monopoly that ESPN has on sports and the leagues resultingly have like basically a funding source for whatever they want, and it's really hard for them to get hurt, for a team especially. I would love to see some competition and some repercussions going on for the way things happen.
Michael, rip off the Band-Aid. It's been on there for too long, Aston.
Yes.
So you're still hanging on the PlayStation View, huh?
Still got it.
You're not gonna. The question is, PlayStation View. Do you think this new Hulu Live is a viable or a definite contender to replace it?
So the reality is, if I cancel it, I'm not going to pick anything else up. Every single month, if not every day, I question whether or not I'm really getting my money's worth. And I really don't think I am. But at the same time, I obviously am, because I haven't canceled. It's like,
right.
There are plenty of things that I pay for that I don't use that I should probably cancel, but it just like sometimes it's like not worth it.
Yeah. I mean, some of those things, most of the things that I pay for that I don't use are things that I support. Like, I haven't watched weird things in months because I've been so busy at work, which is where I usually do that. So I can't listen to that at work because I've just been meetings and stuff like that. But I'm not going to cancel it because I like them and I support them. But PlayStation View is different. I do it because it would require a conscious effort for me to consume that stuff in another way. That is predominantly news, because even the HGTV shows and stuff that I usually watch, I can get those on Hulu or something else that's much, much cheaper. But watching some of those news channels, I would have to consciously consume that news in a different fashion, whether it be watching clips on YouTube or reading news articles or listening to news podcasts or whatever. It's just more work, and I'm lazy.
Well, I would invite you to try. Well, one is, CBS News is free streaming out there, and that's one alternative to news. Also, too, I'd invite you to look at the news channels available on Pluto TV.
Pluto TV.
Yeah,
Cheddar
RT is on Pluto, isn't it? Yeah,
it is. It is. Cheddar is a tech news channel that's on Pluto TV. Also, you get CNBC International on Pluto TV as well.
Some of the channels that you find, do you feel like there's a variety of like political viewpoints or preferably even like actual news that's unbiased? Or
that's where RT kind of comes in. Yeah. It's hard to believe, but yes, Russia Today touches a lot of what you just asked for.
RT is a good one. Also, too, Sky News, which is out of the UK, is also a good one as well.
Okay.
Those are the best. Unfortunately, the best places to get news about what's actually happening in America.
RT and Sky News.
Yep.
I'll check them out, because honestly, I watch the news that's available on PlayStation View because that's what's available and what's easy. I don't like any of it. I feel like it's you see the same thing all day, every day for weeks, and B, it's always so heavily biased in one way or another. And you kind of have to watch a conservative and a liberal channel just to get both
part of the story.
Find put the parts together and find something that's kind of in the middle that's close to true.
Yeah.
And, I'm really not happy with the news solutions, but I feel like I should be somewhat aware of what's happening. So
yeah. I mean, most of the American news stations out there, I mean, it's the same story over and over. They sit there and say the same political arguments over and over again. And how many different angles can you view those same political arguments over and over again? I mean, it's quite boring. I mean, once in a while I'll find myself tune in to one of those, and after about 5 minutes it's like, okay, enough of that. I see nothing's changed, right? and then I change it to something else, right? So,
yeah.
So my family is still on the Comcast, and we've been watching and waiting for the right service to come in to have filled what we need for what we want to watch and what we want, and with the right services and the right features, in order for us to go ahead and cut Comcast and use something like this instead. So the question has come up: is Hulu Live the thing for us? And it kind of ticks most of those boxes for us, because we do want to have the multiple streaming accounts inside and outside. We do want to have a way of watching our shows after the fact, and so the DVR and the back channel, that's the back catalog, is there as well. We do watch a lot of the local channels, and where we live, there are no local channels. I just looked it up. Hey, we get CSN. That's it. That's the only local we get. Yeah, there we go. The Northwest version of the NBC CSN sports network. No. So, but the good news is, where this is apartment, and when we rent, we actually get basic cable for free, which I believe includes those locals. So now I'm curious of what I can get that will be able to maybe DVR those and stream them within my house, so we can watch it on another device. Also, since it currently Hulu Live not updated for Roku yet.
If you guys want, we can check and see if it's on the Fire TV. I just
believe it is.
I just got a notification that the Fire TV has a new look. Should we check that out?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sure.
maybe. Yeah, I'd like to see if it's the same as the Apple TV.
I think that Clyde wants to show off his cool new fancy. Whoa!
Whoa!
No, I brought up my capture card and then I saw this. I was like, oh, I guess there's something new on the Fire TV. But
What's new?
So you have to go continue, and if it's like the Apple TV, it would ask you to personalize the types of content you like to watch.
I think I think this is what's new on the Fire TV, not the internet.
No, this is the Fire TV, yeah. But I was gonna go to Hulu. I do not like this. Okay. Wait, what the heck just happened?
You were... Okay. I don't know.
My apps and games went away. See?
Oh, there it is.
I was, and it just changed. But let's see what Hulu looks like.
The icons even differed on the Apple TV. It's a lighter shade of green now.
Yeah, they have a multicolored theme now for the new Hulu. So it looks kind of like your kind of bluish green glass look. So
it's taking a really long time to load. Holy crap, Fire TV.
Maybe it's updating.
Is it one of the old Fire TV stick you have there?
It's the one I got back in like October.
Okay.
Whenever we did the Fire TV month, I picked it up. I've had like 3, and I just keep getting rid of them.
It appears you have the old Hulu.
Yeah, I was gonna say it looks normal to me. Yeah, you guys want to see what I watch?
I'm sorry.
I am excited about this. Have you guys?
Not.
Have you guys watched Outsiders?
I have not.
It was a WGN show. It's really good. I would recommend it. But
okay, I'll have to add that to my queue. Didn't you also like the Masters of Sex or something like that?
no, that's the show that I will never watch because they bombarded me with. That was the only commercial that Showtime had. So when I was binging Nurse Jackie, I guess we're getting into rants and raves, but when I was binging, trying to kill my all of Nurse Jackie in my 30-day trial, I had to watch the same Masters of Sex commercial at the beginning of every episode. And it got to the point, just like all those Apple commercials I see on Sci-Fi, where it's like, you've hit me over the head with this so many times, I will never I will go out of my way to avoid your product.
Yeah.
But yep, so official, not on my Fire Stick yet, but I'll have to fire up the Apple TV and see what it looks like.
You may only see it new on the latest 4th generation Apple TV.
And
do you have that new stick, or didn't you say you have the old one?
Oh, this is the Fire Stick. It's like whatever was out in October.
If you wanted to show it off, I think your only option is the Mi Box.
That's what I meant, and I was gonna say I just said a very dirty word when I said Apple TV. There is no Apple TV in this household at this moment. I meant my Android TV. Same thing, right?
They both begin with the letter A.
Yeah.
It happens. They're totally the same thing.
Totally. But yeah, I'll have to check the Mi Box when we're done.
One's a fruit and one is like a dessert, right?
Yeah. Anybody got anything left to say about this before we move on? Rants, raves.
I'm going to stay up late one night, maybe tonight, and just make a chart of all the different streaming services, the ones that are trying to be live TV style streaming services, and give some pros and cons on each one. And I might, and I've already just barely started on the inside, and I think I might have you guys sit so you can look at it. We can overlook the different shows and the different options and the price points. Because I mostly I'm gonna do this so me and my wife can sit down and look at this and decide out for us which way we want to go. And the other thing I have to do is I have to find out is if my local channels come encrypted to me over the cable from my local cable company, or if I can hook up the old-fashioned DVR and record my local channels on that. So I think they might be encrypted, but I don't know. We'll find out. Because if I could do that, I could do something like Hulu Live and forget about the local channels that I can't get here anyways. Use that somehow to, have it record to a Plex box and play my recorded shows on Plex. That would be fine. We'll see.
All right.
Interesting. I would say, one of the things I was watching Cord Killers today and was reminded of Brushwood's Purge challenge. So
I
think maybe I'll jump on that bandwagon. I've been questioning PlayStation View for quite a while. Yeah, I'll just cancel everything except Netflix and see how long I can go without it.
So he has some rules that they finally settled on. If you have a show that you want to watch, you can immediately subscribe, but unsubscribe from everything that doesn't have something you're currently watching.
I'm not going to... Oh, God.
Yeah, Tom said that you should have a pass, and I kind of go with his approach. You should have a pass on the channels that you are actively watching a show on. So don't unsubscribe to something literally to resubscribe, like Netflix. I am watching Netflix right now. I will use it tonight when we get off this. So there's no point in unsubscribing to that. However, I would say that anything you've been questioning, at least, I would encourage you to cancel and just see how long you can go. So I think I'm going to do that. I'm going to cancel PlayStation View, and I will go as long as I can without it. Now, I won't promise that I'll have this done by next week because my folks are visiting right now, and they have cable. So giving them PlayStation View lets them feel very close to the cable experience that they're used to. But as soon as they leave, I will cancel it, and I will see how long I can go before I feel like I'm truly missing something. And I'll take your guys' advice. I appreciate it for looking at some of the, was it Sky News or something like that? And
RT.
Sky News, CBS.
And CBS Online.
Yeah.
To try to get some.
And Pluto TV. Pluto TV has a big selection of channels.
Most of those channels are on Pluto TV. Yeah.
Well, I appreciate that. That's why we do a show like this, why I watch shows like this and Cord Killers and stuff, is to get that advice. So thank you.
You're very welcome.
You got anything, Jimmy?
Yeah, so one thing, we're in the rants and raves now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So the one thing that I did new over the weekend was I subscribed to Showtime, right? The Showtime streaming service. The reason why I did, I am somewhat of a boxing fan, and they had the big heavyweight boxing match over the weekend. Vladimir Klitschko and oh gosh, I can't remember the kid's name from England, who's the current champ right now. So, and it was streaming on HBO. So not HBO, but Showtime. And so I decided just to try it out, subscribe for a month, see how I like it, and see how it goes. So started off with the boxing match. And then I discovered that after the boxing match was over, I discovered, hey, there are a few shows here that I do like. One of them being Homeland, and then another one being this new show called Billions. Right, that's a very good show. If you've not watched that, I'd recommend that one.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's other shows out there that I have heard about but have not seen, such as Ray Donovan. I've not watched that one, but I hear it's pretty good. So, I've been watching a lot of Showtime over the last few days, since I subscribed, especially the Billions. I'm just, I'm blazing through that. I'm like about 8 episodes into the second season, something like that, right?
Yeah, this week's episode was really good.
Is that episode 11?
Possibly. I don't know. On Sunday night, I fire it up. That's my routine now.
Yeah.
Because I watched the whole first season back in December.
Yeah.
And then I ended the first season like a couple weeks before. So I guess it wasn't December, right? But I watched the whole first season on Amazon, I think it was. And then what ended up going straight into season 2, like a week or two later, season 2 premiered. So
right. Yeah, same with me. I watched it like about that same time frame. I think it might have been a little earlier than you did the first season, right? Like October, November, or something like that.
Yeah.
Right. And then just since I've subscribed to it now, I said, okay, let's start watching the second season now.
Yeah.
Right. So and I got it. The UI to the Showtime app and all is pretty good. I wouldn't say it's the best out there.
Yeah,
it's far from the worst either. I mean,
it's not as bad. It's got some things which I've talked about before that really irritate me, but it doesn't drive me as crazy as HBO. So
right, yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah,
HBO's got its little quirks. I mean, you get to where you want to go, but it's like it seems like there's a lot of unnecessary.
Yeah, it's such a roundabout path. It's like they got the guy who decided the path that the kids in Family Circus would travel. The guy that made those is the guy that made these, like the UI in these apps, the workflow.
But I'll tell you what I do on the Apple TV. I use Siri. When I want to watch something on HBO, I'll say play, whatever it is, and it comes right up.
Cool.
Nice.
All right. Actually, this week, for a change, I've got a rave. There was a show that I just discovered called No Tomorrow. Did anybody watch that? It takes place in Seattle. But it was apparently a CW show that just wrapped up its first season. It didn't get picked up for a second season, but that doesn't mean it's canceled. They threw it out on Netflix to test to see how much interest there is for it. And there may be another season on the internet. And I love what they're doing with this, because they should do this with every show. And I recommend, just for the reason of helping them get another season, go watch it. But I also recommend watch it because it is so much fun. It's basically this guy there's a girl that works for a very Amazon-like company. She's very by the book, just like procedure-driven kind of person. And she meets this guy who lives however he wants because he is convinced that an asteroid is going to hit the Earth in 8 months. And he basically teaches her to live like there is tomorrow, do the things that you want to do. So it reminds me a little bit of My Name's Earl, in the fact that they've got lists that they need to do, but it is really funny. And about 5 or 6 episodes in, they start really expanding and focusing on the supporting characters, and that's when the show gets amazing. So
okay. So I think I did actually see a couple episodes of this, and it had I like the premise. I like how it does it. It's got a great sense of humor. I thought it was a pretty cool show.
It is really funny, and it's very. They make references to other pop culture things, like other TV shows, and like he called at one point. Someone told her that she needed to get some sun because she's more pale than the chick on iZombie, and she's a zombie,
Yeah. Wow.
Which at the time I thought that was kind of great until I realized, this was a CW show. They just plugged another CW show.
Promotion.
But there's other stuff, yeah.
How are you watching this?
It's on Netflix.
On Netflix. Okay, and what was the name again?
It was
No Tomorrow.
No Tomorrow. I think it was on Netflix, or it might have been on Hulu. Yeah, I think it's on Netflix. But
okay,
it's on one of them. It's out there someplace, but it's called No Tomorrow. It's really funny. It is worth watching, and I burned through that thing pretty quickly.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Well, I'll definitely check it out, and I think everybody should make sure that they live like there's no tomorrow, because I'm pretty sure that Clyde having a rave rather than a rant is one of the signs of the apocalypse.
It's
it's not a good sign.
Well, I think I need to change that up, because the last time I ranted about something, my car got stolen. So I think it was someone that was watching, knew we were on the air, and said, I disagree with him. Take his car. Jotman says it was VodBot.
Just his favorite show. It was not good.
Yeah.
How dare you?
I don't even know what I ranted about last week, but yeah. All right. Anything else before we wrap this up?
Real briefly, my wife and I decided that we would try watching the first episode of The Handmaid's Tale.
Oh.
That is an intense show.
Oh.
And it's a dystopian tale. Near future, bad stuff's happened, and crazy people have created a society that have completely weird rules, and I don't want to ruin it. If you want to watch it,
the lady from that was played Peggy from Mad Men is in it, right?
I actually don't know. I've never seen Mad Men.
And the lady from Chuck too.
Yes, she is in that.
The girl from Chuck.
The girl from Chuck is in it, and boy, she's cold. There's chill in the air in that room. It's I don't want to ruin it for you. It's very adult. Enjoy it if you get the chance. If you want to watch it, a lot of people are seeing it now. A lot of people are enjoying it. It comes out on Hulu, and it's out every Wednesday. Apparently, they're doing a weekly releases on it. And I think 3 or 4 episodes out now. So. Just after watching the first one, I might not be the kind of show that we're going to watch, but it's high production, it's high quality, it looks good. Check it out if you're interested.
I saw it pop up the other day, like yesterday, and I was like, I have no idea what that is. The name sounded familiar, but it didn't resonate enough for me to even click on it and read what it was about.
I could be spoiler. I could spoil the intro to you, but you know what? If you want to go ahead and see it,
check it out.
It might be interesting. It might be interesting for you to walk into that without knowing anything.
Oh yeah, like Legion.
Yeah, I saw the poster, the splash poster on Hulu of that show, The Maiden's Tale, I believe it's called, right? Yeah.
Handmaid's Tale.
The Handmaiden's Tale, yeah. Yeah. I don't know. To me, when I saw the splash poster of it, I thought, it's The Flying Nun.
Oh.
It is not a period piece. It is not, a period piece from the past. It is not.
See, when I saw it, the name seemed familiar, and I immediately thought it was like something old, like Victorian literature or Chaucer or something like that, because it's got that the name it's recognizable for some reason, and
it is based off of a book series. So
yes.
The Handmaid's Tale is a book by Margaret Atwood that was from the 80s. Mid-80s. So
okay. Maybe
it's somewhat old. It's not brand new. So you may have heard it. It was
That's a alternative reality thing, right?
Absolutely.
Right? Yeah. Yeah, I think I remember I remember that. Yeah.
So if virtual reality is VR, augmented reality is AR, what is alternate reality? Because it's AR taken.
Alter.
Well, it's like you take a timeline, any timeline, right, and you alter it by just a little bit. And so a lot of the things are still the same, but there's certain things that didn't, like Man in a High Castle, for example.
No, I meant what would the acronym be? Because AR is already augmented reality.
Tilde R.
Tilde R. Okay.
You call it. I like Skills Cats. You call it LSD.
That's right.
But then, it should be tilde R, because then we could force people to learn how to say tilde. Because most people don't know what that's called.
Yeah.
Squiggle. All right. On that note, I think I'll wrap this up. Thank you so much, everybody that's out there hanging out. We will be back next Wednesday, same time, 9 p.m. Central on Diamond Club TV. In the meantime, feel free to go out to our YouTube page, which is still lacking. We need the subscribers. We need that name. Otherwise, you got to search for the VOD Squad. Otherwise, you can check out our page for information on DCTVpedia. Thank you so much to W. Scottis1 and Bad Weave for keeping that kind of stuff going. And other than that, I think we've got everything. Check out Talking Nerdy whenever it appears.
There was a new episode that
Thank you, everybody.
I recorded last night. I'll be putting it up shortly. So
that guy up there.
Thanks, guys. Now I just gotta find my mouse.
Diamond Club hopes you have enjoyed this program.
Right.